Once more up onto the roof, my friends, just to have a look at what it's like in the summertime. It's been raining for about a week and a half now. Today's the first day that we've got some bright sunshine, and everything is looking pretty spectacular at the moment. Everything's lovely and green, and I was down looking. My potatoes are up, my onions are growing, few carrots, not very good germination, a few parsnips, cabbage in, broad beans up, normal sort of bush beans up, peas up. So looks like everything is going quite well. But you don't want to see my face. Let's switch this round and have a look the other way. Oh, that doesn't work. This is the same 360-degree revolution roundabout. Down there is the keyhole garden and the blossoms on the crab apple. That there is the snowball bush, which will be turning white in a few days' time. That's the forest, well, its glory with the blue skies over there. Apple tree. I just mowed the lawn yesterday, got out the old sit-down mower and cut down all the grass. Big fir tree there. Trees there, mantu it's called, and that's looking down the garden over toward the school. That building you see away in the distance there is the village school. Birch trees, and this is the line of lemons, and down there you can see the lilac in bloom. Okay, that's about it. And over there is the fields. You can see that have been ploughed, and I don't know, it might be wheat or something they're going to be growing, or rye or barley over there. The train going past, I can hear it. Anyway, that's from the top of the roof in summer. So this is a look at the garden and what it's like. These are my potatoes, which are just up. That there is Mulberry Beauty, and just next to it is my favourite potato, which is Lapin Puicola. It's a almond potato, and it's really nutty and a beautiful potato to eat in the summer. And I've got 4 rows of them, and I've got 1 row of Annabelle as well. And here we have the onions, which I am growing from sets. Usually I grow Stuttgarter, but this year I'm growing Sturon. Stuttgarter is a rather sort of litea, sort of oval shaped or squash type tomato, whereas the Sturon is more like a, what would you call it, pear, and they store better, and that's why I'm growing them. And here we have the parsnips coming up. I put them into the ground when it was still a little bit frosty at night. They say that that's a good method of getting them started, because there's a process called vernalization, which helps to break open the seeds and helps them germinate. This is my garlic. I planted them last autumn and covered them up with leaves so that they survive the winter. I just leave the leaves on them as a mulch, and I may have round about 10-12 garlic there, and that's usually enough for me, and they seem to be growing quite well. And just next to the garlic is this northern giant. I cut the tips off the northern giant blackcurrant and just shoved them in the ground in the autumn, and as you can see, they're producing leaves, so I expect that they've rooted well, and I will now have about 10 new northern giant plants that I can take to the summer house and grow there. This here is an apple tree which has never given me any blossom in all the years I've had it, but this year it has. It's an apple called Heta, and I'm just overjoyed that it has produced so many blossoms, and also having a start to little apples. I just wonder what they taste like. I hope it's a good apple. And this here is my Rautatia omnapo huvingensis, the railway station apple tree, and it has also produced little apples, and they're nice for making jam, but not for eating. They're very small. This here is for the sunflower challenge. I planted these seeds straight out into the ground, but before I planted them out, I did the Japanese crack on them, just taking a little pliers and sort of nipping the opening tip, and this helps water to get in and helps them to germinate. And I've planted this whole bed with 3 different varieties: Russian giant, some I don't know, some fuzzy one, multiple head one, and a sort of red one. And I've also undersown it with calendula and poppies and stuff like that. So round about the base there'll be sort of wildflowers growing. So that's the sunflowers. And here, this is bad news. My cascade hops, put it out, and as you see, it's got sun scorch. Put it out too soon, and it didn't like the strong sunlight, and you have these papery leaves where the sun has scorched them. It doesn't seem to have happened with the ones I had growing in the ground earlier on, or dale calders, but this cascade seems to have suffered a bit. I hope it survives. And this is my strawberries. I've got 9 strawberry plants, and this is a Canadian variety where the strawberries there, they grow pustusa, soar. They grow upright, so they don't hang on the ground. I think it's a variety called Bounty from Canada. So I'm looking forward to tasting strawberries in a few weeks' time. This here is a bush bean called Prelude, and I've got 2 rows, about 5 meters, and I have it under harso, or netting, not netting, fleece at the moment, and they're doing well. And I hope to get quite a lot of beans out of that. And just next to it, these are my broad beans, and they have come up and germinated quite well. These are the ones that I saved from seed from last year. I try and sort of, if there's a good cultivar, then I try and sort of keep it and use it the next year. This is another one, the peas green shaft, Hurst green shaft, which I've saved from seed, and they are all up. But knowing my luck, we'll have a hailstorm and it'll all come down, it'll batter all these leaves. That's what happened with my tomato plants last year. It was terrible.